Hey everybody, it's your boy Memphis here, coming at you live with a deck profile for Kuribohs 2018 going into 2019 Link format deck ready deck. And so I'm just going to go over the cards in here and we're going to talk a little bit about the different things you can do with it. For our main monster don't, we got ourselves 3 spherical Kuribohs, 2 regular Kuriboh, 2 clear Kuriboh, 1 relink Kuriboh, 3 winged Kuriboh, 3 Kuriborn, 2 rainbow Kuriboh, 3 kinka-byo, 1 mauled captain, and 1 jester confi. For spells, we run 3 the flute of summoning Kuriboh, 2 multiply, 1 detonate, 1 regek, 1 foolish burial, 1 dark hole, 2 burial from the different dimension, 1 for 1, 1 monster reborn, and 1 twin twisters. For traps, we run 3 copies of Waboku and a pair of storming meter force. The extra deck contains the following cards. For links, we have 2 Link Kuriboh, 1 Peroxy Dragon, and 1 Boral Sword Dragon, replacing the now defunct Firewall Dragon. We have for Exceed 1 number 13 and 1 number 31 for the occasional use with both Link Kuriboh Peroxy. We have ourselves 3 number 54 Lionheart, 2 Slacker Magician, 2 Sylvan Princess Sprite, and 2 Lyrilusk Assembled Nightingale. The side deck we'll go over in a moment. So this is a deck that is very typical of Kuribohs. We're all about setting up our graveyard as fast as possible while defending ourselves from all of our opponent's attacks. We have a lot of things for negating damage or attacks. We have Sphere Kuriboh to stop anything that's not a link. Kuriboh, the OG, who stops any form of battle damage. We got some effect negation with Clear Kuriboh, who can also banish himself in order to special summon a card if you mill a card from the top of your deck that is a monster. Otherwise, it just gets you a spell trap. It's still pretty good. Link Kuriboh is nice because Link Kuriboh is good because, you can't really negate this unless your opponent has set up something prior, like, I don't know, Abyss Dweller or something like that, so that you can't use things in your graveyard. But, it's a pretty nice card. I played it just one. It usually just works out just fine. Link Kuriboh stops all the things because he stops all damage the rest of the turn after he's been destroyed. Sadly, does not work against piercing damage. Sorry, Jaden Yuki. Most important monster I have to say is Kuriborn. Not only does he revive any Kuriboh that's been destroyed by battle, hence you probably use this on Link Kuriboh as many times as you can, but you can banish it from your graveyard in order to special summon all the Kuribohs in your graveyard. That's right, you can swarm up to 5 cards. Granted, it's only during the battle phase, so that's where Waboku comes into play. You really want this whenever you got this as often as possible. Don't always get it, but when you have the option, it's definitely preferred. And so you can do this up to 3 times with our Kuriboh. Of course, you can do it more with the burial from different dimensions, that you target 3 banished monsters and put them back in the graveyard. So you can technically Kuriboh 5 monsters up to 9 times. You can do it more if you put another burial, but I think 9 times Kuriboh is it's a lot. It's a lot, and it usually works just fine. Rainbow Kuriboh is just kind of an odd choice. I mean, he stops 1 monster from attacking. It doesn't sound like much, but if your opponent spends all their resources on 1 huge link, then, you put this on it, and then, they have to link it away or something to get rid of this. So, it's something. It's something. And he can bring him back. He can bring himself back from the graveyard if need be. Kinka-byo, one of our most important play markers, along with the motivating captain. I call him Maul Captain because that's the old name. This card lets you bring back any one of your Kuribohs in order to make, a Link or an Exceed monster, usually Princess Spider, Slacker Magician, or other things. I prefer him over the Maul, however, because during the end phase, let's go back to your hand. Therefore, if you have a Kuriboh already on the field, whether you summoned it last turn and it survived, or you have the flute or something, then you can make a rank 2 Exceed, or rank 1 Exceed, but we don't have no rank 2s, and then you can get Kinka-byo back to your hand to use it next turn, so it's a bit of nice synergy right there. As for the spells, we've got, as the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh would be really nice if it worked on all Kuribohs, but sadly it's a bit dated. But being able to swarm a Wing Kuriboh whenever you need it is pretty nice. And if your opponent had Max C, I don't think Max C is still legal, right? I'm pretty sure that card is still banned. It's sub-banned, it's not even on the list. There you go. It's not even there. That's where it is. So yes, this card, you can get a Kuriboh to your hand or to your field. Granted, it has to be either Kuriboh or Winged Kuriboh, but it's still nice. Multiply is one of our more powerful Link spammers. You use this with the OG Kuriboh. and you get 5 tokens. So basically you get this, that, you get 5 tokens. You can make a Link Kuriboh, a Proxy Dragon, another Link Kuriboh, and go into a Boral Sword Dragon. Or if you feel like doing some other links, that works just as well. Our spell line otherwise is pretty self-explanatory. Regeki Dark Hole is for beating over just huge boards that you need to get rid of. Foolish Burial is nice for sending our Kuriboh to the graveyard. 1 for 1, same deal. Discard any of our monsters, preferably Kuriboh or Link Kuriboh, and then get out of Kuriboh. And then we got ourselves Monster Born, of course, and Twin Twisters just to get rid of some nasty spell traps. Wabaku, again, is pretty important because we use it to protect our Kuribohs summoned by Kuriboh, and it also just saves your life in case, your opponent starts attacking you. It's also really nice when your opponent tries to destroy it with a spell trap, and then you chain this. As a Storming Mirror Force, same kind of deal with the Dark Hole, where it gets for getting rid of big boards, and I prefer this over Drowning Mirror Force because sometimes we have monsters on board, and so there you go. Our extra deck, again, pretty self-explanatory. Link Kuriboh, the only Kuriboh in the extra deck. He is non-targeted to remove all the attack of the monster that he's attacking. It's pretty nice, and he helps going into the other things. We use Proxy Dragon mostly because on occasion we can make 1331. Not that you always want to, but I always like that option. So, you make a Link Kuriboh, a Proxy Dragon, then you bring these two out. It's a little tricky to do, but it's possible. And then, of course, Boral Sword Dragon because, Firewall's banned and all that stuff. And we can't have Firewall Dragon no more. So I found Boral Sword to be a nice, replacement. You can also replace it with any of the other Borals. Boral Load, Boral Guard, whatever fits your fancy. Lionheart is our boss monster. The main goal of our Kuriboh deck is to have our opponent have a big monster. And then you ram into it with this Lionheart to do damage. Because, you see, you can detach material from Lionheart when it battles, and your opponent takes the battle damage you would have taken instead. So basically, you just summon this, ram it into your opponent until they lose. Slack Magician here is a nice go-first option if you have plenty of spell traps, because if your opponent tries to target it, then you can attach a material and then it's negated. And that's not once per turn. I've had people try to Castell this, and then they try to impermanence it at the same time. It does not work that way. Our Sylvan Princess Bride is a nice go-to first option. Usually we go to this first because it allows us to, start off by searching spell traps or dumping monster cuts, which is both things that Kuribohs like to do. As for our Assembled Nightingale, that's our go-to. This is what we usually want to go first before Lionheart because it lets us weaken our opponent. And it's also good to go into when we are, in a bit of a pinch because you can detach material from this so you take no damage for the turn. Of course, also, it can attack up to 5 times, depending on how many materials it has, which we can get to quite a few materials, and it can do up to 5,000 damage, so it's a pretty nice card. As for the side deck, now let us go into that. If you want more links, you've got another multiply. You can do things like link spiders and the like, and you can put in things like, Saryuja, whatever you want. You let your imagination go wild. If you want to play more competitively, of course, we have our Solemns. You can put any kind of counter trap. Might I recommend the Cursed Seal of Forbidden Spell. Discard a spell, and your opponent cannot play the spell that was negated by this the rest of the duel. Shuts down Brandish Maidens. I don't know what else to tell you. If you want Mirror Forces, go ahead and put in the OG Mirror Force, things like that. Soul Charge, if you really feel like you really need all those materials back. I don't run it because, we kind of need the life points we need, because this is Kuriboh. If Kuriboh was ever released, then I would totally say play Soul Charge, but since that's still in the manga, you can't. Now, comboing with our boss monsters, we have Stoic Challenge and the Twin Swords of the Flashing Light. You put the Stoic Challenge on our Assembled Nightingale, makes it a 4,000 beater that can attack 5 times at most. And then we got the Twin Swords, which you put onto Lionheart. That way, Lionheart attacks twice and has 0 attack, so it does huge amounts of damage. We also have Shuffle Reborn, which is something I used to have in the spot of Monster Reborn. It's just if you have no monsters, you can bring back a monster with its effects negated, and you can banish it to shuffle the card you control into the deck, and then draw another card. But then you lose a card during the end phase. So basically, if you're in a brick, this helps get you out of said brick. If you find yourself up against a bunch of effect damage, you have, of course, Junk Kuriboh, who is only not in the main deck because all he does is prevent effect damage. It's, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And he's very mean. Look at those eyes. He looks so intense. Ooh. And of course, last but not least, another meta-ish choice is we got Mathematician. When normal summon, you can send one of any of our monsters to the graveyard, and when he's destroyed by battle, I draw a card. So, it's good for dumping all of the things we want to dump, and it's good because when it's destroyed, we get to draw another card. So, the side deck is for your imagination, and it's all about you. Alrighty, that is the deck, and of course we have replays, not today, but I will leave link in the description to replay videos and the like of this deck, going up against all sorts of opponents. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Do let me know what you thought of it, and would you try it out? And the Motherfucker Accelerate, we'll see you again next time. Later, everybody.